Hello and welcome back to All Things Money. I'm your host, David Blain. During today's show, we've been discussing the debt limit and implications for individual investors. The bottom line is, and by the way, if you missed the first two segments, you can go on the web, www.dlblain.com. There in a week or so, you can download an archived copy of the show and listen. But we think it's mostly a political and media event that first of all, default on the debt is highly, highly unlikely. A compromise will probably be reached, but even if it's not, they're not going to default on the debt. We also think that the dollar will continue to be the currency of choice for the short term in the world. So let's move on to a different topic. I know last week I was talking a little bit about these short-term traders and how they've come to dominate the market. This was a follow-up piece in the New York Times about fast traders and how they're battling some of the rules. High-frequency trading firms now account for about 60% of the 7 billion shares that change hands daily. 60%. Once again, I talked about this, and if you want to be a trader, it's really a losing proposition. Anyway, these short-term traders have formed their own industry trade group, and they've hired a former SEC staff members. They've spent nearly $2 million in the last few years lobbying. They want to be called automated trading professionals rather than high-frequency traders. These are the folks that trade in and out of stocks in nanoseconds. For example, if you say you're going to sell 100 shares of Coke, and you hit your button with your little brokerage firm that says sell 100 shares, these folks' computers are so fast, they see your order of 100 shares of sell for Coke going to the market. They get in front of it, buy that 100 shares, and then turn around and sell it to you, and they shave a few hundredths or thousandths of a penny. I mean, this is how high speed these networks and traders are, that they're actually getting in front of a lot of trades. Anyway, this group consists of 31 firms spending millions of dollars lobbying. They want the regulations to act favorably for high-frequency trading. As a group, they earned $12.9 billion in profit the last 2 years. Of course, a lot of these firms are very secretive, and so a lot of these numbers are estimates, but I think that's probably pretty accurate, that they are earning a decent amount of money. And they've hired this Cameron Smith. He worked as senior counsel for the SEC Division of Market Regulation. So these folks are getting very organized and lobbying. It's just a fascinating development for those of you out there that think you can trade on a short-term basis. It's really highly, highly not advisable. All right, we've been talking a lot about things, high-frequency trading, debt limits, things like that you have no control of. And part of what we try to do is get people to, A, not worry about things you don't have control of, and B, try to avoid dealing with issues that you don't have any control of. And so I thought it might be kind of fun here in the last segment to talk about some things that you do have control of that people forget about. Instead of worrying about, the federal debt limit, how about setting a budget? These are some basic things that you have control over to take control of your personal finance. Most people do not have a budget. We like to call it a cash flow plan, a little bit better term than budget, but it just planning for the money that comes into your household and the money that goes out, and making sure that you have enough reserves on hand to meet the expenses. Don't spend more than you make. Don't run up credit card bills. These are just basics, but these are things that you have control over. You don't have control over what Congress does. You don't have control over the dollar. You don't have control over some high-frequency trader, but you do have control over setting your budget. There's all kinds of personal finance programs out there you can use, or a spreadsheet, or just have some sort of spending plan. For those of you older, you do have control over the timing of Social Security. You can take it at 62, full retirement age, which for most people is 65 or 66, or waiting until, normal retirement age, or taking it at full retirement age, waiting until age 70. You have control over that, and you can make much more money by waiting. If you have the ability to wait, we normally recommend that people do so. Reducing debt. This is something you have control over. You can't make the government reduce their debt, but you can reduce your debt. You can take any available money that you have, pay off high interest credit cards, consumer loans, things like that. You can create, or you can reduce your own debt. We also advocate people, most companies don't pay pensions anymore, but you can go out and you can create your own pension by saving, by investing. Now, people are going to say, oh, well, the stock market hasn't made anything the past 10 years. Yes, but a well-diversified portfolio the past 10 years has made, 6, 7, 8%. And so you can save and invest and create your own pension that when you're retired will pay you back and not rely on some company or the government. Another big thing is managing taxes. You have a lot of control over that, especially if you're a business owner. You have control over managing your taxes, getting to, if you have a CPA or we do taxes, we meet with our clients all the time about taxes. It's a huge place that you can take control of your finances, making sure that you're investing in a tax smart way. Retirement plans, small business retirement plans, 401ks at work, IRAs, Roth IRAs, all these things are designed to help you take control of your finances. People that have rental properties, there's a way to manage and finance and run rental properties that is to your tax advantage. If you have a business, there's a smart way to spend money. There's a smart way to do things. Spend some time managing your taxes and it will yield some immediate results instead of worrying about these global issues that you have no control over. The other thing is long-term care. People are living longer and longer. It may be long-term care insurance. It may not be. It may be self-funded. It may be, children. But the point is to plan for it. Take control of your future and plan for how you're going to pay for your long-term care. So there's just a few ideas. You step away from the budget debate. Think about some things you have control over. Setting a budget, timing your Social Security, reducing your own personal debt, creating your own pension by saving and investing, managing your taxes, and planning for your long-term care. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. I hope you'll join us again next week. For All Things Money, I'm David Blain.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of WNBU and Inner Banks Media.